everybody, how are you all doing today? We are back again with some of the Unreal sessions my friends Vtuber and Jim and I are doing to learn to use the Unreal Engine 4. We're still not working with audio, of course, and before I hop on over to the stage where Jim's at, I am gonna do my little setup part first. Down in the description below, you'll find a link to the Pocket Shop where you can get energy mixes, sleep mixes, hydration mixes, shakers, and even stickers. And if you use creator code BLACKHEART, you'll get a 10% discount and help support the channel in the process. Anyways, I see Jim's getting ready for today's Unreal, so let me hop on over to his stage real quick. Hopefully my audio is doing okay. I mean, I can see there's... Oh, almost forgot to turn on the desktop audio. Almost. Did not mean to forget about that one. And let's see... There we go. We'll probably wait till he does his little opening speech thing while I try to remember where we left off. Right, we were starting this, I think. The plugin, the open sound control plugin. Let's see. Well, we wait for Jam. Let's see. I have kind of decided on that I'm gonna be putting up a poll regarding which should be my third channel. Should it be Twitch or should it be Kick?
Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
I'll be doing that over on Discord and over on Twitter.
As soon as I can get the Chrome to actually see the right web page. There we go. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strangebird Jim, and we're going to be getting started on some Unreal Engine tutorial study sessions and the like. We got Blackheart in waiting for my permission to speak at this stage. I'll get to you in just a second, there, Blackheart, but let me get into what we're planning on doing today. So.
There, Jimmy.
So, or at least, for my for my audience here, we got the OSC plugin overview that we're going to be starting today. I don't know how far we're going to be getting through on that. We're covering all the audio section first before we move on to artificial intelligence afterwards. But we're getting closer-ish to the end. So we got a little bit more to go. We're doing the study first, then our plan is to make a clone of something, whatever it is, we don't know, we'll figure that out when we get there. And then after we make that clone and release it to the public, then we'll go ahead and make another game that Blackheart and I will be proud of to sell out to the public. That's the plan. So let me go ahead and invite him in to speak, and we shall get started.
Hello there, Jim. How you doing?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. Just having to deal with a lot of humidity today.
That's never great, unfortunately. So, humidity and heat, it's just ugh.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
Yeah. In some ways, I'm thankful that I'm in the desert where it's just it's dry heat.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more tolerable. So, although I don't really have any grass, so no real grass or really trees or anything like that. So I mean, people try to grow trees and have their grass, but it's the desert. It's like, come on guys, you're wasting a whole bunch of water trying to keep these plants in the grass alive. You're not gonna win.
No.
You know. So. But yeah. So, like I just mentioned, we're going to be covering the OC plugin overview today. We had just finished off the audio mixer overview yesterday. And we're going to continue working our way through this process and trying to learn as much as we can. I'm not going to say that we're going to be experts when it comes to this afterwards, but hopefully we'll know a little bit more, by the end, at the very least. We'll have at least a few nuggets, at the end of all this that we'll take out of it and, use when we get into the making of the games later. So, at least one would hope.
Yeah.
So.
Alright.
Alright. Ready?
Yep.
Alright, so the OS plugin overview is an overview of how the open source control plugin works within the Unreal Engine. What open source sound control is, no idea, but we'll see what it is. So the open sound control, or OSC, is an open protocol commonly used in many areas of the audio industry. It is primarily used to network generic audio data between clients, although it can also be used for non-audio data. Okay. The OSC plugin provides an intuitive, type-safe blueprint library that a developer can use to quickly iterate networked audio and potentially other domain data in Unreal Engine. When this plugin is enabled, you can send and receive OSC events through a simple API in either C++ or Blueprint. It supports sending and receiving messages and bundles, or combinations of bundles and messages. Okay.
Okay.
So now, open protocol commonly used. Okay. It'd be nice if they kind of gave like examples of that a little bit. Like, hey, this is used by Sony or something like that. And we use it. Sony uses it for their car stereos or whatever. I don't know. Something along those lines to kind of give a gist of like what they might be talking more about, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not quite sure everything that is kind of enclosed within the open sound control. That's all.
Yeah.
It's used in the audio industry. Great. Is it used by like major players in the audio industry? Or is it used by just people that like in the open source community?
Is it used maybe by the movies as well? Who knows?
Yeah. Is it used by recording studios? Is it used by movie studios? Is it used by game studios? Well, I mean, if it's linked in with Unreal Engine, if it's linked in with Unreal Engine, obviously it has some bearings in the gaming industry, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: not everybody uses the Unreal Engine.
Nope.
So it makes me wonder, is the open sound control used by other engines, platforms, just game studios in general? I'm not sure.
Don't know.
I'm not, I don't know if there is a definitive answer on that. Uh, you know, most I could probably say is probably.
Maybe.
There might be a few game studios that use the open sound control, with their games. They might not necessarily use Unreal Engine, but they might still use the open sound control. You know, I'm not gonna say, oh my God, this is it's only focused on the Unreal Engine. They
No.
don't.
No, it's
you
very
know,
likely that other engines might use it. Maybe not exactly as Unreal, but definitely using it.
yeah. I mean, if it is a common open protocol used, in the audio industry, then, you know, one would figure that, you know, um, that any kind of sound engineer would be like, oh yeah, I know what this is all about, and we need to add this into our game so to make our lives a little bit easier because we want this to be able to connect to, stereos out there that are also, linked in with the open sound control. Because um, if for example, the open sound control has an open API, right? To the point where like a stereo will allow for input signals to be sent to it, audio signals, to be sent to it so that we can get, um, it can receive audio from some source, right?
Right.
Um, then obviously um, our game that uses the open sound control will need to be able to, um, take that audio track and send it, using the API, like, hey, we're going to bundle this audio and we're going to send it off to the stereo. So we're going to use the API send to send it to the stereos, API receive, that kind of thing, right?
Right.
So at least, you know, one could only assume. So at this stage. Okay. The OSC plugin must be enabled to use this feature. Go to Edit Plugins, Input Devices, and then check OSC Open Sound Control option to enable. Should we do that when we do it? I don't really know, but
Don't know.
it might be something that we might need to consider.
Possibly.
Um,
Maybe for a
but
larger
again,
project, maybe.
maybe. Again, I don't know what their full scope is. You know, they say that they are commonly used in many areas of audio industry. Well, that's great, but you know, um, like how, I'm still not quite sure about like where or how kind of thing. So it's I'm not sure
Hmm.
along those lines. So um, like if it only gets used by one manufacturer, for example, then that's not a commonly used.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we enable this for one speaker, huh? Why? Why would we do? Now, well, I shouldn't say I shouldn't necessarily say that. Because it's you should always make your game available to everybody as much as you can, right? Um, as much as you're able to. You should try to make it for as many people as you possibly can. And with whatever hardware that they have, at least try to. It doesn't necessarily work that way, but um, you can at least try. Um, but if the OSC is saying, "Hey, we're vast. We cover, you know, multiple speakers. We cover multiple ranges. Blah blah blah. This. we handle all this kind of jazz, and that's a lie, and it's like, hey, we only have like one manufacturer that uses our API, then it's like, you know, uh, if we put in like a lot of time and effort to conform our audio just to the OSC, and it only benefits one manufacturer out of like hundreds, then it's like,
What's the point?
yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, one would figure like, hey, let's focus our attention on like making sure that the other avenues are covered first before we go to the OSC, for example, right?
Right.
So, again, I don't know. I don't know what it all covers. Who all uses it, that kind of thing. So I don't know. But obviously, we'll figure that out later. The OSC server, and they gave us some keyword, I guess, there, acts as a listening endpoint for messages sent to the local instance of Unreal Engine. It supports multicast loopback and parsing on both OSC messages and bundles. It also lets the server specifically state which API addresses it will listen to, whitelisting. Okay. Okay, so the server acts as a listening endpoint for messages sent to the local instance of Unreal Engine. It's not like a receiver, so it supports multicast loopback and parsing on both OSC messages and bundles. It also lets the receiver specifically state which API addresses it will listen to. So, if you don't have the IP addresses that, or your Unreal Engine isn't finding the IP addresses of the speakers, then it won't have a connection with the OSC server, and therefore not able to do any kind of transferring of the messages, bundles, music, whatever. So that might be a little interesting. A user can bind an event to receive messages from all OSC addresses using a provided address pattern. See binding an event to address patterns below. Listen for all messages. See binding an event to all messages below. Or listen to all bundles. Similar to binding an event to all messages below, but requiring unpacking a received bundle. Okay. So a lot of binding an event to the address patterns.
Yeah.
And binding an event to all messages. So they're saying that we'll see that below. Which they're only showing images of it. Okay, well, that doesn't really explain much.
Not yet, no.
But, okay, the OSC client provides a way of sending OSC messages in bundles. Okay, so we would want to be using the OSC client then in order to send the audio to the OSC server. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, that is what it's saying.
Yeah. Because obviously we wouldn't be the one in charge of the OSC server, right?
Nope.
We'd want to find the OSC server, we'd want to search for it and make sure that we connect to it properly. But we wouldn't be in charge of it.
Nope.
Or at least one would figure. So, an OSC address is a typed path that may or may not also be a valid pattern. As a valid path, it can be created, sent, and received as part of a message packet. Okay. OSC bundle message. Both message and bundle are pack types of a receipt that are received from the OSC client or sent with the OSC server. The OSC message contains an address that is also a valid path and that has a payload of supported OSC protocol types. Okay. So that's kind of what you would need to do to kind of establish a connection, I guess you might say. And then the bundle contains an array of packets of either other OSC bundles or OSC messages or both. Which you're not. Array of packets of other bundles. Great. What are bundles? You're not really explaining what a bundle is there, guys.
At least in this context, at least.
I mean, they give the, this entire paragraph is about OSC bundles and messages, but they don't really explain what a bundle is really. What is a bundle? An array of packets. Great. What else does it contain? What's in this array of packets? You're saying that it's other OSC bundles. Well, that doesn't explain much. You're saying that's an array of packets, an array of packets, an array of packets, and it's like, okay, you're now creating a infinite, you're creating an infinite array of packets at this point, potentially, and that tells me nothing. So, oh well. Asset classes. The OSC plugin does not require an asset class or any asset classes. All its required types are transient and expected to be created, managed, and destroyed with Blueprint. Okay, now we're getting into a lot more, like, keywords and they're showing images of the blueprints, which I don't really know what we can really do with that right at this moment in time.
Until
I don't
we
really
start
see that as
doing it ourselves, I don't know what we will be able to do here.
Yeah. And other topics of like OSC Server Connect, for example. So obviously, console variables, Blueprint API, all these kind of things are pretty much functions and the like that we'll probably need to use if we want to enable the OSC plugin. But again, wouldn't really know if this is really a great help for us in terms of audio overall.
For small projects, I don't think so. I think it'll be more for when we catch you doing a larger project. But I don't see it on a small scale. I don't see ourselves using this.
That's weird. My headset just powered off.
Oh.
Normally it powers off when there's no audio coming in, but I mean, yeah, I'm hearing you, so it's like,
that's weird.
Why did my headset just turn off? Yeah, so
you had a wireless one, right?
Yeah, I have a wireless one. So
is it properly charged?
I never had a problem with it before.
Hmm.
So this is the first time that I had it cut out like that before. Well, I mean, I've had it cut out before, but typically it's, if I don't have any audio coming in whatsoever, then it'll shut itself off. You know, I have to be hearing something, but I mean, I'm hearing you,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yeah, that's why it makes me suspect the battery or something.
Yeah, but normally it gives me like a warning that, you know, battery's low or something like that. It'll give me like a little notification like, hey, battery's low, or
Hmm.
well, it gives like a little beep saying like, hey, I'm powering down due to lack of battery. It shuts off like that if it's not receiving any audio, and it's like,
It's weird.
that's why. Yeah, I there are times when I get really irritated with the headset, especially when it's like, guys, I'm speaking. Eh, keep the headset on with output as well.
Yeah.
you know, input, okay, sure, I can understand that, but allow for output as well. If the headset is experiencing output from it, then keep it on. Oh well. Um. Okay, so I'm sorry, I kind of missed a little bit of what you were saying at the end there.
Like what I was saying is like in a small scale project, I probably wouldn't mess with this really, but on a larger scale project, yeah, maybe this might come in handy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends. Um,
All depends on what decisions we take regarding the audio.
yeah, I mean, um, well, I mean, when you consider audio, you need to make sure that, we try to cover as many, um, we want to make sure that we cover as many, like, speakers, headsets, blah, 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 as we
Yeah,
can, right?
yeah. I
So
would,
that,
I
you
would
know,
in
we,
this case probably off stream look at a video of someone maybe explaining and showing maybe the difference of using it and not using it.
I mean, that'd probably be a
Like to get
good
an
way of
idea of
going
okay,
about.
what's the actual benefit from this? How is the audio actually being affected?
Well, again, I would imagine that it would be something along the lines of, hey, um, we have we might have some manufacturers that only use the open sound control to handle sending and receiving information
Yeah.
from the original source to the speaker. Um,
But there's no clear
so
explanation on that. That's why I think maybe
right,
looking up a video tutorial of someone actually explaining it a little better than this might be necessary.
might be, yeah. Um, but I fear when it comes to it, we're gonna need to really figure out how to,
Implement it.
we might need to implement it even on a small scale, even on a clone. We might need to try to implement it because um the um it might apply to speakers, for some random, for um um, it might apply to speakers that we might not necessarily connect with otherwise if we're not careful, right? Um, so yeah. Uh, well, again, we'll probably need to hold off on doing more of this later.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to audio system overview?
Yeah, let's.
All right. Okay. This one is a fairly long topic for the most part. Lots of images, so.
Yeah.
Alright. So the audio system overview is an overview of the audio system used in playing in-game sounds, including node-based audio assets in the sound cue editor. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm just burping.
Okay.
Lots of soda. Unreal Engine 4 supports importing 16-bit and 24-bit PCM formatted WAV files at any sample rate for up to 8 channels. For convenience, it also supports importing OGG Vorbis, AIFF files, and FLAC files, though it internally converts them into 16-bit format PCM files. Okay. I'm assuming that, you know, the Vorbis, AIFF, and FLAC files are probably, you know,
formats, I'm
like
guessing.
you know, like specific, you know, ending of files, you know, much like, you know, you have .exe or MP4s or something along those lines. Same kind of difference on them. You know, you probably have, you know, specific name types to them to the point where, you know, maybe, you know, they're probably made from like you know, various other manufacturers out there, like, you know, like Sony, for example.
It's just different
You know,
audio formats.
right. Um, Thankfully, from the looks of it, we don't necessarily need to worry about converting them ourselves, so that's good.
Good, yeah. That's
You know,
one less thing to worry about.
yeah. So, now obviously, if there ever is a point where it's like, hey, you know, my game isn't getting like hey, I'm not hearing any audio on this game that you guys sent out, you know, could you help me out? You know, that could potentially happen um for the game, right? You know, we send out our brand new game. We just brought it out, you know. We send it out there into the world, and you know, yeah, you know, a lot of people are happy with it. But there's always going to be, you know, one or two people that are probably going to have some problems, right?
Right.
Um And if one of them goes, hey, I don't have any sound audio, then we're going to need to try to figure out, you know, maybe they have their own, like, speaker system or a different speaker system, so that they use and all that. So I don't know. We'll have to see. So, with Unreal Engine 4, you can also build composite sounds from the form of sound cues in the sound cue editor, which you can use to combine sounds and apply modifiers called sound nodes that alter the final output. Additional elements that are used to define how a sound is heard or played are covered in this overview. Links to more documentation can be found in their respective sections. Links to more documentation. Okay. That's not great.
Nope.
Oh well. So, you know, from the previous paragraph, though, you have you can build composite sounds in the form of sound cues. Okay, so I mean that's kind of a good description of what sound cues are now. You know, composite sounds, and the sound cue editor which I'm assuming, takes all those sound cues and, make sure that they run properly. Machine used to combine sounds and apply modifiers called sound nodes that alter the final output. Okay. So I'll have to consider that at some point. Or, we'll have to remember that.
We'll look at it once we get to the sound cue section.
Yeah. Importing sound files. Unreal Engine 4 currently supports importing 16-bit and 24-bit PCM formatted WAV files at any sample rate for up to 8 channels. I mean, you already stated that up at the very top there, guys. Importing, well, actually, note, and the audio files that are imported are automatically encoded to compression formats based on the format, platform, and features used by the sound. Okay. Importing the sound file into the editor generates a sound wave asset that can be dropped directly into a level, or that can be used to create a sound cue, which then can be edited inside the sound cue editor. Okay. So distinctly, obviously, as we can tell here, you can either make either or, a sound wave or a sound cue. It doesn't seem like you can make both. But, again, I don't really know. I'm just kind of stating an observation right at this moment in time, personally. So, are you okay so far?
Yeah.
Yourself? Okay. You can import a sound file by using the content browser import button, or by selecting a file in File Explorer and dragging it into the content browser. Okay, that's easy enough to do. To add a sound asset, click the Add New button from the content browser and select Sounds, and then from the menu, select the asset that you want to add. We've kind of did that before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we've done that with geometry and textures. It's pretty much the same principle.
Yeah, so we're good on that. There are several different types of sound assets that can be added to your projects, described below. Sound cues. Okay. Sound cues are composite sounds that allow you to modify the behavior of audio playback, combine audio effects, and apply audio modifiers with sound nodes to alter the final output. For more information, refer to the sound cue editor page. Okay, which is coming up, so we don't necessarily need to worry. Yeah, it's near the end, so we don't necessarily need to, go, oh my god, we need to worry about it now.
But no. Sooner or later we'll catch you this.
Yeah, so, and I hope that they kind of talk about it a little bit more than what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Because again, what are composite sounds? Or, what does, what I'm trying to wonder, what I'm wondering about is what's a composite sound and what isn't a composite sound? What's the difference between the two? What's the determining factor? And can you still take non-composite sounds into a sound cue? Probably not. As it, specifically says, are composite sounds. So, and who knows? I might be, making up nonsensical words by saying it's, what are non-composite sounds? That might not even be a thing. I don't know.
It's not exactly common knowledge, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here, so. If there isn't anything that falls in that, then obviously, okay. And I'm making a fool of myself, but, I mean,
Don't
I don't
worry,
really
I
know any better, so.
don't really know what makes a sound composite either.
Yeah. So, sound attenuation. Sound attenuation assets allow the definition of attenuation properties in a reasonable manner. In a place you can specify one-time use attenuation properties, you can instead specify the sound attenuation asset. This allows adjustment to attenuation properties without having to revisit every sound individually. For more information on attenuation, see its sound attenuation page, which is coming up, so we don't necessarily need to worry about that.
Yep.
So if we need to modify the sound attenuation to like multiple sounds, then we can just create this sound attenuation asset and then modify it. What it does, I don't really know. I'm not like 100% sure everything that it can do.
Yet.
But again, apparently, you know, you don't have to revisit every sound individually. You can just modify the attenuation properties and it will modify it, right then and there for every sound that it's associated with anyway. So, okay, reverb effects. Reverb effects are definable assets with several properties that can be easily adjusted and applied to any audio volume placed in your level. With a reverb effect, you can adjust settings, see below, that control elements like the echo density, overall reverb gain, air absorption, and more to help craft an overall feel. I look at this list and go, oh my god, what am I looking at? I, I don't think, I mean, they went over convolution reverb, but, like, we went over convolution reverb, but I don't
recall this on that.
Yeah.
It's like a more advanced
these
feature.
Yeah. So, like, room roll-off factor. Huh? I don't remember them really talking about much of this, if anything at all.
No, I don't remember seeing this there. It showed other parameters, but not these ones.
Yeah. So, would be nice if they covered this a little bit more, covered what density, diffusion, gain HF, decay time, all these are, but again, I guess it's something that we'll have to try to figure out on by ourselves, through other methods.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get it from Unreal Engine, which is a shame, because if this is supposed to be their documentation, then explain what these are, there, guys.
Yeah.
You need to be thorough when you do your documentation. So far, this feels like it's like an outline, a rough draft, if anything, and it's not filling in all the necessary information, it feels like. But that's me.
Yeah.
Well, moving on.
Yep.
Okay. Sound class. Sound classes are a collection of properties that can be applied to a number of sound assets. Properties inside a sound class act as multipliers to the existing values and will be carried out by all sound assets assigned to the sound class. Hierarchies can be created by adding child classes, which will allow you to pass down only specified properties from the parent class to child classes. You can connect classes class together inside the sound class editor, which shares a similar node-based interface as seen in the sound cue editor. Okay. You can also add passive sound mixes, seen the sound mix section below, to a sound class, which will kick in and activate automatically whenever the sound class is played. For example, having music automatically lower whenever a dialogue sound class is played. Okay, so that's helpful for the, I like having, I like when they have examples, that can be easily understood. So, so that's good. All right. Sound mix. Sound mixes allow you to set the equalizer settings, or EQ settings, to modify volume and pitch properties of sound classes. Multiple sound mixes can be active at the same time, all contributing to the overall audio effect. You can push, activate, or pop, deactivate sound mixes directly inside a blueprint with the push sound mix modifier or pop sound mix modifier nodes, or activate them passively whenever a sound with a given sound class is playing within a specified threshold. Okay, you follow along with that?
Yeah.
Okay, or?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah. I do appreciate the fact that they have push and pop, which is standard for any kind of, which, is typical programmer lingo for, queues or stacks, right?
Yeah.
So, when you push, in programming, it typically refers to you pushing something, something into a queue or into a stack. And then when you want to remove said item from the queue or stack, you need to pop it off.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. So, in a sense,
using a bit of programmer language there.
Yeah, when you want to activate a sound, you want to push it in, aka you want to put it into the stack or queue, and then when you want to get rid of it, you just pop it or remove it from the stack or queue. So I like that. If it was the other way around, then we'd have issues. We get a little confused about that.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that they use the proper terminology, that align with programming as well. So I appreciate that. However, the push-pop method can become complex quickly if you have a large number of mixes you're trying to switch between. This is where the set sound mix class override blueprint node comes into play. You can set an active sound mix to use any sound class you have and interpolate between its current sound class and the new sound class over time. Okay. Interesting. So because apparently this can use multiple different sound classes, this sound mix class override will allow for it to go, okay, this particular sound class needs to take over, so we're going to push that sound class in and pop the other sound class out. Is that the impression that I'm getting from it? Do you feel like I'm kind of on the right track, or do you feel like that there's something else going on there?
It sounds that way.
Yeah. And according to this, it can apply to children as well. So if you have sound class children, you can apparently handle the push and popping of them as well. So that's that's helpful. So then you can set the sound mix back to its original setting by using the clear sound mix class override. Within sound mix asset itself, which can be opened by double-clicking the asset in the content browser, several properties exist. You can specify equalizer settings for the mix to adjust the high, middle, and low frequencies and gains. As the equalizer settings from multiple sound mixes cannot be combined, the equalizer priority allows you to control which active mix properties are applied at any given time. So this last paragraph that I just read is it feels a little confusing to me. I don't know if you feel the same way or not, but so you can specify equalizer settings for the mix to adjust the high, middle, and low frequencies and gains. Okay, I'm assuming like sound wave frequencies.
I'm assuming that as well, like which point of that wave is being affected.
Right. How to adjust it, I don't really know, but maybe it changes the size and the amplitude, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure what the EQ settings can do to the frequencies, but obviously we'll probably learn it over time. As the EQ settings from multiple sound mixes cannot be combined. Okay, not quite sure exactly why, why can't they? Is there something going on here that they can't be combined together for some reason? I'm not quite sure not quite sure exactly, they're not really giving a clear, it doesn't feel very clear to me why you can't combine them. But then again, I'm not quite sure exactly what settings they're referring to anyway, right?
Right.
So, so maybe one kind of counters another or something like that. Like I don't know. I'm
I don't know.
At the image above, like you have a volume value and a pitch value, right? So maybe changing one would have an effect on the other. So if you try to change both the volume and the pitch on two different sound mixes, obviously trying to combine them together wouldn't necessarily work out. They would just basically like cancel each other, if you get what I'm saying. So, but again, that's don't know what the EQ settings is all about anyway, so
I don't know.
yeah. But I mean, it does say, the equalizer priority allows you to control which active mix properties are applied at any given time. So in other words, this, if you can't combine them, like they're all their own separate, like maybe, like for example, you have a high frequency and a middle frequency, right? But you can't combine them. Maybe. I'm just saying this out loud, just to kind of put it out there. Then maybe the EQ priority basically says, okay, We need to handle the high frequency first, and then we'll handle the low and the middle frequency next afterwards, or something like that. Or maybe it goes like, hey, I'm gonna do a little bit of the high, then the middle, then back to high, then back to middle. You know, maybe it does it something along those lines. You know, I don't know. I'm just
Speculating right now, so all we can do.
yeah, yeah, throwing that out there just to see if maybe I'm close to being on the right track, but you know, I don't know.
If somebody knows the answer to that, leave it down in the comments below.
Exactly. Inside the sound classes section, you set which sound classes are to be affected by the mix. For each sound class, you can set the volume and pitch adjusters, set if the mix settings are to be applied to chalk classes, or modify the voice center channel volume. Okay, so that sounds pretty much straightforward for the most part. Although I wouldn't really know what the voice center channel volume is all about, but
I
you
don't
know,
know.
it sounds very specific. Why? You know, I don't really know, but you know, something for us to kind of consider later.
Yeah.
The sound mix section allows you to specify how the sound mix properties are applied and or removed. Delay indicates how long before the mix properties should begin being applied. Fade in time and fade out time specify how quickly to transition from no effect to the specified properties. Duration allows a pushed audio mix to automatically pop itself after the specified duration. The value -1 indicates it never automatically pop, and passively applied sound mixes will not automatically pop. Okay. So um, hold on a second.
You okay?
Well, yeah, I see the fact that they have the highlighted keywords here: delay, fade in time, fade out time, duration, and you know, that looks awfully familiar to me. Like
Yeah.
if you look at the image right above, you see fade in time. It doesn't show fade out time though. And it also doesn't show delay. But I was like that
I
looks
think some of it was on the details of the sound class, I believe. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Was it what it's
yeah.
showing there? It's like this class is modifying sound that's coming into these nodes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I can see some of these, like, you know, if you look up a little bit further and towards the sound mix, you see the image up above where it's, you know, I can clearly see fade in time, duration, and fade out time. I see initial delay, which isn't, I mean, which I guess, you know, can still be delay. So I mean, there's that. Um, but it's like, you know, they're showing different keywords. Like the volume pitch is in the mixed class override, for example, but you don't really see it in the like the sound mix properties. It's in the sound class properties, but
Yeah.
you know, those kind of things is like, interesting. Not quite sure exactly, you know, what's going on there completely, but you know, um, voice center channel volume. Hmm. Yeah. the sound class has voice center, channel volume, and the sound mix has an adjuster for that. So interesting. So yeah, that's all. I was just kind of noticing those kind of details.
Hmm.
So okay. So oh, we're already at 3 o'clock, my friend.
Yep. There's only one last thing left on it.
But it's a long one. Do you
Yeah.
want me to push through on it, or do you want to save it for tomorrow?
Let's save it for tomorrow.
Okay.
And so I can get some food and prepare for some Genshin later today.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right then. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and save dialogue voice and dialogue wave for tomorrow, and then we'll go on to Quartz overview, which what is Quartz? I have no idea.
I don't know. In
Um,
the case of audio, I don't know.
it's a rock. Wait, hold on. Um, and I just clicked on the Quartz overview page, and oh my gosh, it is a lengthy topic. So
Let's have a quick look at it.
that's gonna
Ooh,
take a while.
yeah.
Uh,
And it looks quite advanced. I don't know how much we'll actually go through it.
uh, in some ways, yes. In other ways, it might actually be kind of explaining some things that might help us out a little bit.
Hopefully.
So hopefully, we'll have to see. To see on that. So maybe they'll explain it, well enough that we'll understand everything there completely.
I doubt it.
Yeah, me too. But you never know. You never know. Okay, so that's gonna be it for our Unreal study session for today. Um, want to thank everybody that came on in and watched our content. If we had any chatters, thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting with us. If we just had some lurkers as well, thank you for being there. Thank you for the lurk. We're gonna continue on with the Unreal study sessions. So we're good and ready to start working on our clone, and then we'll start doing that, obviously. But it'll take a while.
Yeah.
So give us time, because like what we mentioned before, um, we want to make sure that we are
We at least have
yeah
an idea of what we're doing.
yeah know enough to be dangerous when it comes to building something on Unreal, and then then we'll start working on some kind of clone. We'll figure out what we want to do, and we'll see about trying to build it from there. Um, but we need to have a basic understanding um, of what the Unreal Engine can and can't do. Um, Now, well, I say what it can't do, but at the same time, our understanding might say to us like, "Hey, this this engine can't do this," but in reality, it might be able to. You know, our understanding just might not be there.
Yeah.
So,
You'd be surprised
so
what some
that's
people's pulled off with the engine.
exactly, exactly. So, um, but obviously, that'll take time and stuff like that. But we'll get there. Okay, so if anybody's like on, oh my God, why can't you just make a game already? Let's, you know, let me point to my Unity project that I tried to do. Okay, I was having a lot of, I knew that I was messing up quite a bit on my Unity project, but I figured, hey, I can handle this. Honest, not really. Um, no, I mean, I I guess my mistake on that was trying to, I did their tutorials, right? And it's like, oh, okay, these tutorials are easy enough. Um, but um, I didn't really want to like do like a direct copy of it over and over and over again to try to make something different, right? I wanted to try to build something on my own, um, but at the same time, I put a lot. I put a lot on my plate, on that, and it made me mess up quite a bit, I would imagine. Was I on the right track? I don't know. I don't think so. Um, Maybe eventually probably could have gotten there, but to be honest, probably not.
With the right
Uh,
amount of time, maybe.
Maybe, but I knew that it probably would have been better. If I had like, professional understanding of it, then I probably would have been like, "Oh, what are you doing, Jim? You should have been doing this and this and this and this and clear out this and blah blah blah." Right? But as someone that didn't know any better, just did the tutorials and that was about it. I put a lot on my plate, and I, I felt like I was making a lot of mistakes. So, and I don't really want that to happen to us on this project. Okay, on our clone, on our game. I don't want us to be kind of thrashing about, in the Unreal. I want us to understand what the Unreal Engine can do, um, so that we can, you know, develop a UML, develop the blueprints, develop the code properly, so that we can build the game without needing to use any kind of like coding tutorials or something like that. You know, um, I want it to be understandable enough so that we can build something off of it, not use someone else's code, not copy someone else's code to do something. So that's all. That's my that's my take. So, and I feel that we'll get there.
Eventually.
Yeah, with time, with patience, and with perseverance, we'll get there. So, all right.
All right.
So, um, so help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Give us that like and subscribe and all of that jazz. That would be fantastic. Check our descriptions for various links. Both on Blackheart and mine descriptions. We got multiple links for you to check out there. Have fun looking at them all and checking them out. Every single last one of them would help us out immensely. So, check out our Discords and check out our other playlists. What else? Everything else that we've put on our YouTube channels. So, we do other things besides the Unreal Engine if you're just watching this particular video. So, so, but that's about it. Anything else that you want to add there, Blackheart?
The thing I think of is for the parts that we might have not understood properly, or like DOSC, like if anyone has any links at least to it, to somewhere where it can be explained better, leave it on the comments below, or if you understand it yourself, maybe explain it to us.
That's good. Yep. Obviously, we have to be careful with trying to watch any kind of videos directly on these recordings that we're doing,
Yeah.
because we don't want to get hit with any kind of copyright.
We'll most likely watch it on our own time and not risk it on the stream.
Yeah, most likely. Um, so, um, and we also had one individual come into your chat talking about, maybe wanting to join up, which again, um, it's we're open, but we have to be sure that you are, interested in that kind of commitment, because Blackheart and I are doing this pretty much daily. Not every single day, but pretty much. If life doesn't get in the way, at least. um, so I would hope that if someone wants to join us on that, then they would also be willing to put up that kind of commitment as well. It's not an easy commitment, believe me. But just bear that in mind. So, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it for now. You and go and have your food
Yep.
and have fun with Genshin Impact. I'm gonna proceed on with video uploads and gonna be playing a new game tonight.
Nice.
XCOM Enemies Within. So
Ooh. I heard from my brother that one's pretty good. The XCOM series.
yeah, the original XCOM, it, was basically a pixelated, version. And that one was also still pretty good. Still fairly, it's a fairly hard game.
I mean, pretty much all the XCOMs have been pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I think the only exception to that word was which one was it? The one that plays kind of like what's it called again? Bureau, was it? Declassified. That one was supposedly the easier of the bunch.
Hmm. Let's see. There is XCOM Enforcer, Defense, Interceptor, Apocalypse, Terror of the Deep. Those were the old school XCOMs.
No.
Then you have the XCOM Enemy Unknown.
That one's pretty hard, from according to my brother.
Yeah. You had the DLC for Enemy Unknown called Enemy Within. And then they eventually made XCOM 2. I personally have not played XCOM 2.
There is another XCOM. I think that was the Bureau, or was it Declassified? I think it was the Bureau.
Well, I'm seeing the Bureau XCOM Declassified.
Yeah, that one. That is also another XCOM game, but I also heard it's the easier of the series. Since they went in a different direction on that one.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
I have it, I haven't played it.
Okay, it is its own separate game, huh? Interesting.
It's not as tactical. What was this other game called? It's similar to another game that's also a trilogy. I can't remember right now the name of it. You played it already. I saw you have videos of it. I can't remember right now. It's another sci-fi game.
Oh, you mean That one Martian game that I played, not too long ago. Like,
Um,
what's
Destroy
it
All
called
Humans?
again?
No,
No. All right.
no. Something effect it was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Something of that.
There's a trilogy of
You,
it.
oh, you mean Mass Effect?
Mass Effect. Yeah, it plays like that. From what I see, I saw my brother played it. It plays like that.
Okay. Well, I hope it's better than Mass Effect.
I don't know. I haven't played it. I'll know
Although I
once I
probably
get to it.
I think I triggered a few people by just saying that though.
I don't know. I haven't played either. I have not played Mass Effect nor Bureau.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even have Mass Effect.
Um. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people love the Mass Effect series. And um, I'll say that it's good. There's some things that could be better, or at least for the very first game of Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect could have been better, obviously. But I mean, it's the first game, so I have to kind of give it a little bit of slack on that, right?
Yeah, they were
Um,
experimenting and learning.
right. Um, like, there's, they're using a dialogue system, and obviously, when you're dealing with a game that you are handling the dialogue system. um you only have a certain amount of choices that they give you, right?
Right.
um and there's two different, like, um moralities that they give you.
Yeah.
you know um the positive, you know um you know good morality version, I didn't really have a problem with it. It kind of aligned itself pretty nicely with it. But I played it again with the evil alignment, and I felt that they could have done a better job with that one. So when it comes to Mass Effect, I really felt that they kind of dropped the ball
Mm.
when it came to the evil alignment on Mass Effect. They could have done a better job with it. It Okay, so one of the problems that I have is that, you know, uh, like I said, they did a really good job on the good side, but on the bad side, it felt to me like they were just basically saying that you are a mindless grunt that will shoot and kill anything that moves, kind of thing, and has no idea of what it wants, kind of thing. Um, like, hey, I'm just gonna randomly go out and kill things, and I don't really give a damn. It's like, you know, uh,
It lacks personality.
I'd prefer more of an intelligent, you know, evil character. You know, um, like, hey, if I want to do some evil stuff out there, then maybe I should, like, maybe get some henchmen or something like that. Get people on my side a little bit more. Um, have them do things for me. Have a little bit more manipulation going on, kind of thing. Much along the lines of like a, Palpatine kind of evil, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes right down to it, they basically put it more towards like, hey, you're more of a Darth Maul that will just go in and attack and not really do anything else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all. That's my kind of complaint about Mass Effect. But the Brio that the Brio would be kind of interesting if it kind of falls along those kind of lines, especially if you have an XCOM style to it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
All right.
You get out of
Yeah.
here. Go
I'll
get
get
some
some
to
food
eat.
again, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Will do. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Out of the stage. And okay, that's gonna be it for now. I'm off to get something to eat, and I'll be back real soon. Hopefully within the hour, hopefully less, for some Genshin Impact. Anyways, so thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's stream, and I hope to see you all next time. See you in a little bit.